order. All right, 5:30.
Take that as a reminder myself.
5:33. Thursday, October the 10th, 2023. Roll call.
Carol McIntyre,
Present.
Joseph King,
Present.
Linda Booz, Patrick Julian,
Present.
Billy Dazzler,
Present.
Michael Hutchison,
Present.
William Harris,
Present.
Paige Brusso,
Present.
Trishelle Bowman.
Here.
And we got 8 present, 1 absent. And we'd like to leave us in the word of prayer.
Dear kind Father, we thank you for the gathering of the minds here to do the city business. But I pause to take a break, intervene and ask for your guiding hand for peace in the deadly attacks in Israel. God, there are loss of lives on both sides, and we know that all things are in your hands and all things go according to your will. And even when we don't understand it, it is still going according to your will. And we ask right now, Lord, that those who are hostages, who are still have family members, that they be returned to them safely. That there is a peaceful situation that can come out of all of this, that we can be better human beings, that we can be better neighbors, we can be better people. And God will give you glory, we give you honor and praise. In the name of Jesus, amen.
Amen.
Amen. Next up on the agenda is public speaking. If there's anyone for the public. There's no one for the public.
No.
We will move on to item 6. 5, there's no response. No remark. Glad to see everybody here today. Almost out of 4 today. You too, Mr. Bush, going to speak to you. Glad to have you here today too. I'm gonna start, people. I had looked at, while I was out of town the weekend, look at recorded some of our meeting. And we as a board, and I guess I've probably been probably more so than a lot, but we all need to look at that. There's some things that we're showing out there, we're putting out there that we should. As a board, our job is to try to make sure the child is in on the child. And I'm looking at we can way off of other things here. And we're getting into what we've been seeing, the elected official. We get to the point where we get out of the board, we get somewhere never been before. Getting almost to the divided board. And we can't do that. We're not there for that. It's not our job to worry about personality, ego, life, trust, anything else. It's got to do with the charter. Once we get out of the charter, we get too far back into things that we improved. We're getting into a real thin line. How can I look at that and I can see, and you all, when you get a chance to look at our meeting, or what the public said, how can this board be non-political, non-partial, to make a judgment, but what we're putting out there is a judgment before we even investigate. We can't do that. What we do and what we say is what the public gonna see. And if they see you were trying to look at, the only thing we should be looking at is the fact. And the fact is gonna have to be what it presented at that time. If we didn't do anything last month without something that we shouldn't be acting on this month, we should be acting on what is presented at this time. And I looked at some things that I can't go back and try to do things we didn't act on the past chairman. I can't even act on stuff that we didn't act on since I've been the chair. But what I can do is try to move on stuff that presented today, forget about what happened in the past. Because what I've looked at, I had to go back and look at a lot of things that we're not looking at. We're not giving the picture that this board should be portraying this thing. And we gotta get to being that board that is acting on the facts that are given to us. As it's given to us then, if we don't do anything with it then let's move on. And that's one of the things I see. And I also know that we got a lot of things like get calls to. And from an elected official. And that we had to be careful with that, because they would, that's the point where they try to divide. I can understand but we have to stay with the charter. Completely with the charter. I get called, I hear them, but then judgment gotta be with this board. And we gotta be fair, we gotta be careful what we say in our meeting. We said things that, if you look at it and you say, if it was me that the board had to look at it, but I think they're gonna be fair. And we said that, I said a lot of things that when I look at it is, I shouldn't have said them the way I said them, but it is what it is. There's a couple of things I want to speak on before we get into it, so I want to go back to it. I've got this stuff with the peacock. Now, I haven't signed it. I'm not going to sign it. I realize some things that this board have not put in place. We have not put anything in place, and that's why our budget ad hoc committee haven't been able to get anything done. We don't even know what we spend in the Ombudsman office. We have no oversight, no control, no what's going on. We have to put those things in place. And that's something that I would be working on. We cannot do a budget, but we can't even tell what we spent. We don't even know where the money went that we didn't spend, how much we spent, what we should have those things in place. And this board should be able to know what those things are. But before we do that, before I sign the P card, we're gonna make sure we have that information in place. make sure that that happens. And I will, as we go to the meeting today, I'll pick people to go with that, and work with me with that. Make sure we get that taken care of in a speed away.
So I have a question. Are we on opening
No,
remarks or
no,
we on
you're
decorum?
you're on the chairman. Open remarks.
Okay,
I'm doing my open remarks right now.
okay.
And, 'cause sometimes I usually don't do much of an open remark, but this thing, when I look at it, and the things that we have getting to a point where this board must be a board that acts. And whatever desire to do. And we have to do that. I've had, I looked at the ad hoc committee, what's that now? We have two ad hoc committees. And my thing with ad hoc committee is my plan is in the future is to have our committee, you meet, you come to consensus, and I'm not gonna report back to do an investigation on the board. You bring your information, and I guess the board is just both accept it or not accept it.
Excuse me, Mr. King. Excuse me. With all due respect,
Let me get through my
I mean,
open remarks.
is
And
all
you can-
these
I
is
can-
open
I will give-
remarks?
I will give you that opportunity, let me get through.
I mean, because it
my
sounds like you're making decisions that should be voted on during your open remarks. Are you
Well-
asking us or are you telling us this how it's gonna go?
I'm telling you what I'm going with, what I'm gonna be. I'm just my open remark, and I will let anybody, I will let you have your say so after that.
Okay, I'm just asking a question.
As, when I get through, I'll open it up, and then we'll have a chance to speak on anything that I have said. Afterwards. Because we all, and let's understand people. We was all here because we volunteered to be here. We was asked to be here. And if you didn't want to, if we don't want to be here, we shouldn't be here. But we got a job we're going to do. If we're not going to do the job, we have to do the job. And so let's all just think about what's the best way we can do our job and make this board something above what we've been getting from the city, what the public has said from the city. Let's do our due diligence. And we should be that bright light that the city hasn't been seen in a while. And that's what we accept this role. It wasn't something that we had to accept. So I'm not gonna spend a lot of time. We don't have a lot of time, so we need to do something. And back to the ad hoc committees, we have the ad hoc committees. It's so we won't spend a lot of time doing things on our own. We gotta have our committee, we gotta have our committee job. You don't do your job, bring it to the board. And the board would vote to accept what you bring, would vote not to accept it, they send it back. We shouldn't be spending a lot of time doing the same job that we give ad hoc committee to do. We're doing it twice, that's not being very productive.
Well,
Girl.
Yes, that's what, it's not productive if we're doing the same thing over and get someone else. And that, and
We'll
it's
get
not,
someone else.
it's not fair. Reading that we listen to each other, understand each other, and these kind of things is not what we should be doing. Okay, those type of remarks are necessary, and there's no reason for it. I'm giving remarks, but I appreciate it if you let me do it. And if you got something to say about it afterwards, let's do it, but don't do that. That's not the council meeting. It's not that kind of meeting, people. We're here to pass judgment on people. We're here that people, what we say, what we do, people's reputation, people's livelihood, and all of that stuff depends on what we do here. We can make mistakes. Let's make sure we make judgment what we put out there, that that's the facts and it's fair. And when people look at what we do, that's what they see. That's what we're here for. And if anything we do, we should be able to go back and say we did this based on the charter. It's based on the charter. I'm not really getting into a lot of political stuff. I'm not getting into egos. Any of that stuff. I'm here, we should be here to have a meeting, look at what we got, make good decisions on it. And get out here and know when we made a decision that we made the best decision that we possibly could. That's what we need to do. Now, on that closing, all things I come up with as I go in there, I will give you ought to make it I won't do it right after death, but after I do the approving judgment.
I'm lost. What was that sermon for?
I mean,
Yeah, what was that sermon for? I'm lost. I mean, is there something specific that happened that you want to share, or what are we talking about? I mean, you just start going off about our behavior, and I'm lost. Where is this coming from?
As I said when I opened up, I looked at some recording of our meeting, and I could see some of those things. And I'm all upset. Well, I see what I see. Now, if you don't see it, I'm not gonna, that's where it's coming from. Because that's what I see it. I'm not
okay,
gonna,
but I'm just saying, like,
I won't get into back and forth.
yeah, I am, because I want clarity.
Man.
I want clarity. I told you, y'all aggressive for no reason. And y'all make up stuff out of the air because I'm not understanding what you're talking about. You come in here and you talk about, don't nobody in here get into it. I mean, there's a such thing as a healthy debate. That should be expected. So if you don't want us to debate or to have differences of opinion, I'm not going along to get along. You lying. You got the wrong one for that one. I'm not. I am going to look at the charter. I am going to base my decision based upon the charter. But if you think I'm going to sit here just to keep peace or supposedly peace and say, yes, I'll go along with that. You lying. You got the wrong one.
Well, let me tell you something.
No, let me tell you
Wait a minute. Hold up. One at a time.
This is out of control.
Let's just respect the
Wait a
chair.
minute, hold on.
The chair better respect the people at the table.
wait.
My daddy dead.
No,
My daddy died in 2021. My daddy dead. My
All right,
stepdaddy
Point of
dead.
order, Mr.
I
Chair.
don't care about no point of
Point
order.
of order.
yeah.
Let us all please have decorum
Don't
in
know.
that, let us please,
No,
I have the floor, please.
I don't care who got the floor.
Wait, excuse me, Ms. Dazzler, let me hear this, I
Hold on.
wanna see this.
All I'm saying is allow Mr. King to finish. I think what he's saying is he's just presenting how he's feeling after what he's seen develop in previous board meetings. I wasn't at the last meeting. So that's just what appears like it's just his feelings. He was gonna open it up for discussion afterwards. Let's let our chairman finish what he had to say. Then when he opens up the floor for debate or discussion afterwards, let's go into that.
How long
That's how
is
I.
this
He took 10 minutes to say what, he took a long time to
But
say
he's,
what he.
but he's,
Um,
it's,
We
but he's the,
understand that, but he said respect people's time,
Right.
and
But
that
he-
includes everybody.
true, but there is no time limit under the opening remarks.
I understand that, but, you know, we all gotta be respectful of one another's time.
One thing is, open up, but if you all are gonna go back and forth, then not let the chair recognize you. That's another problem. Now, that's how we get off the wheel. I give you a chance to say it now, and what I've seen, and you asked me a question, Ms. Dennison, and my remark, as I said before, is my observation. Looking at, how can I get to you? Looking at that, and I asked the board to look at it. And what I've said from being here a long time is, I'm saying other things. And I'm voicing, letting you know what I see. Now, if you don't see it, then you don't see it. But I value of your opinion. And I listen to your opinion. That don't mean that it's changed mine. But I'm gonna try to be fair with it. I'm trying to be fair with it. I'm not, I'd like to sit up here, some of the problem, me, because I like everyone to speak on the board. I don't believe in a lot of Robert rules until it come to procedure. So I don't mind people saying with attitude back and forth like that. And sometimes they get out of hand.
Huh?
But don't take what I say out of context, because unless you're taking it personal, then I can't help that. But what I say, what I think it is, and that's not gonna change me. I'm not trying to change you. All I'm saying is this board need to be fair moving forward. We need to do it. If that's not what's happening, then it's not. There's nothing to get offended about. That we, as a board, and that's include me, we got to do those things. I'm not above anyone. I know what I feel. I looked at the field. I know the things I've said. I know the things I shouldn't say. I know the things I shouldn't do. And I'm saying it, and I'm putting myself in it. But if you take the person, I can't help that. But I go home, Ms. McIntosh, you had your hand up.
First of all, you went into the ad hoc committee gonna make decisions, and people at this table gotta accept it. Everybody at this table got a right to review the evidence. See, this, you're talking about we're conducting ourselves like city council, and you're right, because now it sounds like people trying to cut in the dark. This is supposed to be a transparent board. Now you wanna tell us, watch what you say, because people's careers is on the line. But when you sign up to be a public official and you do certain things, people are gonna pass judgment, because you're a public servant. Then you went into people signed up to be here, and if they don't want to be here and all this, like you're our supervisor. You're one person on this board, just like us. We were all appointed by somebody. I don't recall anybody having the right to give a person, it sounded like an open invitation to leave if we don't want to accept what you're trying to lay down, is what it sounds like to me. And you also said vote on stuff this week, and if we get it wrong, and you know, look, it's not okay if we get it wrong. Either we going by the charter or we're not. And we can't just always want to come down on city council, but then when it's time to address other issues, people want you to be quiet and watch what you say and all this. I don't see nobody watching what they say when we're judging city council. And if we're in this meeting and it was done openly and on film, to have the chairman tell people at this table they can't review the evidence, stopping this board from reviewing the evidence. Yes, we are like city council, because it sounds like some people have certain things that they're trying to hide for other people and all this. Let's put it out here for everybody, whether it's city council, a regular citizen, the administrator. You're right, people are watching us, and they know when we full of. Now, if we don't want to address the issues, say that. You're right. I'm with Ms. Dancer. If I got to go along with what somebody's came up with on the side, would have documented support, and we can't go back and review the support and evidence after they've made a decision, then we got a serious problem on this board. And I agree with Ms. Dancer. I'm not going to sit up here and not say nothing because you don't want me to look like I'm not in agreement with somebody else sitting at this table. I'm not here to go along to get along. And nobody at this table can make me. Whether you're the chair, the vice chair or not, I have a right to say, no, I don't agree with that decision. And I'm going to say that in whoever's space at this table if I don't agree. Now, if you decide that you're going to put me off the ad hoc committee because of that, if that's what you're getting around to, whoever, say that. But I'm all for looking at the evidence, no matter who it is, city council, whoever. And like you said, it did have documents. You mixed that in there. But it was half of it. It wasn't the whole story. And then you don't want us to bring up facts because it's going to hurt somebody's career. Well, it's a fact when you don't do what you say. It ain't just us. Because we didn't have documents put out with this Ethics and Accountability Board's name on it, and we couldn't even figure out who the author was. And certain people supported that and verified that, but wouldn't tell us who wrote the stuff. So no, I'm not going to just go along with Ms. Dancer. No, I'm not going to just go along. I'm not going to just agree with everything somebody say. And then for you to be telling us from the ad hoc committee and you not on the ad hoc committee, how we going to conduct ourselves and what we got to do, and the board going to accept it. No, because I'm part of the ad hoc committee and I didn't accept it. And here you come the next week trying to tell me how it's got to go from here on out. I didn't agree with some of my colleagues on the ad hoc committee. So you gonna make me shut up and they said that, so because that's what it sounded like to me. And furthermore, I want to know how many people is down here meeting with certain people, because I'm starting to feel like some people have personal interest. If that's offensive because people are watching, too bad. Because I get calls too about people that's coming down here meeting and never mention what they met about. But we still having issues. Okay? And folks trying to get contracts with the city. Please don't do me. Because when you come for me, you can call it what you like. But I will be clapping back because I'm for the right. And I don't care who it is. And ain't nobody going to make me bow down and do nothing that's wrong. I stand on my convictions. And you don't have to like it, or whoever else don't. I understand how you feel. I'm totally in agreement with you. I'm not here to be liked.
How could I respond to you?
Well, you didn't allow me to respond to you. I had to listen to what you said. I don't require a response. Like you said, I'm not going to change how you feel, and you're not going to change how I feel.
All right, anyone else have anything?
I would like to say it's 6:02 and we have to sit here and listen to, whatever regarding the last meeting, whatever did take place at the last meeting. I know we need to respect each other a little bit better and respond to each other a little bit better and move on, because I don't have time to sit here and listen to individuals go back and forth talking about how they feel. So that's not what I'm here for. So in all fairness, I think we need to move on to 6:03 now, and we need to move on to the next agenda.
Yes.
Okay. Anyone else? Not, we're moving to approval of the
Move approval.
the agenda. It's been a proper move and second to accept the agenda. There no one have any changes?
And you will go back over the P card later, you know, and get
That's
that.
part of it.
Now.
That's part
Yeah,
of it.
you will, yeah.
We go through anything else, we get to the one,
Okay.
anything else that one have to, you know, with.
Reiterate what you said maybe earlier, another time.
All in favor of approving the agenda? Yeah, you're gonna sign aye?
Aye.
Any noes? Not, we move to the next topic, approve of the minutes.
If I could, last week, the last meeting, when Mr. Matthews passed out that paper, I made copies of it. I'm sorry.
We get to that, that's important. Don't worry about it.
Move we accept the minutes.
Move proper second, accept the minutes, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Noes? None has been approved and accepted. We'll move on to the Ombudsman report.
Good evening, my report is more of an update on matters that we discussed at the last meeting. Several blight items, that's been the biggest complaints lately. Those residents that called, we were able to send out the NSOs from blight. They either received tickets or warnings, when they're gonna go back out, and if those items are not removed or they haven't taken care of the violation, they will also be fined and ticketed. With the complaint number 1511245A, excuse me, and that was the street maintenance complaint where the city removed a tree, and we were asking questions of how, more details and like the cost for the constituent. There's no cost for those when it comes to city trees. The city is assuming all liability for that. And, that's all I have today.
And thank you for handling that situation I had on my street. There was this resident had several cars in his yard, got weed. He had 4 cars parked in his driveway and weeds going up between the set of cars. And he also had an abandoned car on the street with no updated license plate and everything. That car been sitting on the street for 3 years, and I had called City Hall several times. So I decided to call the Ombudsman office and shoot him over to the Blight Department, and they did cite him for having all that going on, that blight going on in his yard, several cars, just parked all over the place.
Any questions, Ms. Bell?
How's everything going on in the office? Nothing to report?
Nothing, everything, I was freezing up until yesterday, everything is fine.
Okay,
They
fine.
turned the heat on. So, they turned the heat on, so I was in blanket and heater, but it's good now.
Okay. I guess we finally realized it was Friday.
Anyone? Okay, we're down to item 10, discussion.
Brother Chair, we didn't have a public speaker, but I think this was from the public speaker.
That was from last week.
Oh, the same letter?
Yes, and people
Okay.
asked me for copies of it.
All right.
So I didn't scan the email, I just attached the copies
Gotcha.
to everybody.
Thank you very much.
Gotcha.
We're into discussion, if you wanna add that to it, that's what you wanna think about it, we can add to discussion.
Yeah, there's something we do need to discuss. Just briefly, charter was violated again. City council is supposed to meet in an official capacity in a council meeting, and they never got out of committee to go into a council meeting. And they're supposed to meet with council. And so for that reason, city council again violated the charter. So that's just something to discuss. That's just something to discuss.
Well, we have council complaint, anything that you got, happy to do it. Now, which one are we at?
I think we're at council complaint. Was that the council complaint?
No.
Anything you got a complaint with, you got a complaint, dealing with that.
Is it the area?
No, that's the same with ad hoc
Oh,
committee. I just
okay,
attached
gotcha.
it because
Okay.
I don't know if everybody, last week, everybody didn't have a copy.
Okay.
And I just made sure everybody had a
Okay,
copy.
gotcha.
Well, let's,
So are you trying to say we're gonna dismiss this complaint? Is that what you guys are trying to do, dismiss this, last complaint?
which one are you talking
The
about?
one that you was preaching about a little while ago?
So they're separated on here, but apparently they're the
Oh,
same.
They're the same, it is.
1 and 3 are
It
dealing
is
with
the
the same
It
issue.
is. And that's,
So do you wanna deal with 1 and 3 first, and then you can deal with the P card, or do you wanna deal with the P card?
331.
I'll put it to discussion.
Oh, well, you mean, this one you meant,
Right, that's the complaint in 1.
okay.
And the
And
ad
I
hoc committee's report is in reference to that complaint.
And that can, okay, that is this complaint.
Okay, so I have a question, didn't we vote?
That is our report,
That's
our
That's your
recommendation.
report, but it's reporting on
That's our recommendation from that
this
complaint.
particular complaint.
Yes.
Okay, complaint, 3311, and, wait a minute. That's just the same thing. Let's do that in the ad hoc
Okay.
committee report.
Ms. Stanford,
Let's do
said she
that.
had a question about.
Yeah, because I didn't think we voted to change anything on the agenda, so we should go in order, right? Discussion is council complaint, P card, and then the ad hoc committee report.
Right,
Well,
they're one and the
it-
same.
it-
I
it-
get
the
that,
others-
but we didn't catch it in time before we voted not to change the agenda. You just laid down the law, so I'm just trying to follow along to make sure, cause I ain't got time for you to come back, cause I get to doing I get to cussing.
Okay,
Thank you.
well, and, no, we did change, but what we're going to end up doing, we will still have to, there's still gonna be this case, we're not gonna be able to do one without the other one. Not like how we report without doing this one, so. Either move the ad hoc report up on the agenda, because they conflicts.
I get that, but we just
Yeah.
heard your sermon.
Well, what
If
the
you
hell we
change-
do? Well, here's what I do, I'll go for the board. What do the board want to do?
I'll make a motion that we deal with discussion item number 1 and item number 3 together.
I support that, because they're the same.
You making out a motion?
I
You
need,
might as well put them together.
That's a motion.
it was moved and supported.
Been moving forward to wait one,
And do the P card last.
council complaint ad hoc committee report. 1. Any discussion?
No, there's a motion.
Right, he asked for discussion on the motion.
So you doing on 1 and 3, discussion on 1 and 3, or discussion on
One,
the
one
issue?
and three.
Or combining? Because you had a motion on the floor, so which one we discussing?
That is the motion
That
to
is the
combine.
motion to combine.
Right, so we're discussing the motion to combine,
Yes.
not the actual issue.
Right, yeah, just the motion.
Okay.
Any discussion?
Yes, is the report final today regardless to whatever?
That's up to the board.
Okay, I'm just trying to.
All right. The board makes, the majority of the board makes that. Any other discussion? No more discussion. The motion is to combine complaint 1 and 3, discussion together. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any noes?
No.
No, ayes have it, so we move to discuss them together. 1 and 3 is now open for discussion.
Mr. Chair, if I may, on behalf of the ad hoc committee, did everybody get a copy of our report? Anybody not have that? So, consistent with, our report,
And I got one.
is this an extra? Yes. Anybody else? Okay, so, we were asked to investigate this complaint number 5253311, wherein Councilman Mays alleged that Mr. Taylor disrupted a special meeting / investigative hearing in reference to the ARPA committee / discriminatory political orientation. The committee is comprised of myself, Mr. Harris, and Ms. McIntosh. On August 22nd, Mr. Harris and myself met. Ms. McIntosh was not present. We reviewed the video, we researched the city charter, and we took note that the meeting was posted as a special Flint City Council meeting for June 28th, and it was posted pursuant to the Flint City Charter Section 3-202, which allowed them to do what they did. The mayor or any 2 members of the council may call a special meeting on 24 hours notice to each council member and the public stating the purpose of the meeting. The committee concluded that the meeting lacked a quorum, and therefore there was no disruption of a valid council meeting. To ensure our findings were accurate, we did contact the Flint City Attorney's Office and requested a legal opinion on the status of that meeting as well. The legal opinion was consistent with our findings, and that legal opinion was provided to the board at our last meeting. On September 28th, we presented our findings and recommendation to close the complaint to the board along with that legal opinion. However, after discussion, the board referred the matter back to the committee with specific concerns regarding the outburst by Mr. Taylor and the Flint City Charter provision, Section 3-203, which states that a majority of members constitute a quorum of city council, but a smaller number may convene and adjourn from time to time. We met again, the ad hoc committee, on October 5th, that being Mr. Harris and myself. Ms. McIntosh was absent, and we addressed those stated concerns of the board. As it related to the reasoning behind the outburst, the committee reviewed the video again, and we noted that the outburst was in a direct response to Councilman Murphy stating the following: there is no quorum, so this is not an official meeting. Why Mr. Taylor handled the situation the way he did is unknown. The bottom line, as far as the actual complaint, was that there was no disruption of an official city council meeting. There were four council members present. They were allowed to meet. Nobody prevented them from meeting. They met for close to an hour with less than a quorum. They did hear from people. They did make comments. So there was no prevention of the city council meeting from time to time with less than a quorum. Our comments on the side were that if the board, our board, desires to address the issues of the decorum, the respect, or professionalism, which to me all kind of revolve around how Mr. Taylor had his outburst and some other behavior at the council meeting, that, you know, all parties could benefit from better behavior. There was a concern that we chose to discuss in addition to that specific complaint, where there were some verbal comments made at our last board meeting where they were claiming certain behaviors were unethical. And we as a committee are recommending that the board participate in some training that would clarify our roles and our responsibility. And we did some research on ethics as applied in a government context. And we found what the Ethics and Accountability in DC teaches to their board members are these 10 principles of ethical conduct. And that is, they're listed in our report, but the main one that I want the board to really pay particular attention to is that we should be an impartial board. We should not be choosing sides, we should not be choosing positions.
Excuse me, I hate to interrupt. We supposed to be discussing 1 and 3, right?
That's what we're doing. Yeah, we
It
just.
sounds like she's discussing ad hoc behavior and training for us.
No,
For
this
the board.
is,
This
this
is
was
part of
all,
our recommendation from our committee.
yeah, this is
Concerning
all.
this complaint?
Correct. So those, we're asking the board to take note of those 10 principles of ethical conduct. Essentially, the committee is recommending that we need to better understand our role and our responsibility, because we're not here to babysit bad attitudes, bad behavior. Our duties are clearly spelled out in section 3-503 of the Flint City Charter. And again, that's dealing with violations of the charter. If someone files a complaint and there's a no response, or, a not a reasonable response, things of that nature that are clearly spelled out in the charter. Based on the foregoing and our evidence, we are recommending that this complaint be closed on the grounds that there was no official city council meeting that was disrupted.
Excuse me.
Okay.
I'm done, Leslie.
Okay.
And I'm gonna call on you. Now, I had read this, but now I see why I had some response I had to my remarks. See, I'm just cutting back time.
And you were not at our meeting, so you had no idea of our
And
report.
I had read it, but I understand what you're about. Go ahead, Mr. Axel.
At this point, I did do some research on my own. I spoke to some people with a legal background. Due to the fact that section 3-203 does speak to majority of the members elected to the city council shall constitute a quorum, but a smaller number may convene and adjourn from time to time, which is what they were doing and conducting city business at the time. With that being said, with that being written in the charter, I don't know how there was not a violation when a legal meeting was posted and somebody from the audience dispersed that meeting. It's right here, it's highlighted, I'm not making this up. So with that being said, how we can take just a portion of this and leave that part out, I don't know. If we're gonna be a fair and partial board, I noticed that we're so quick to point out the city council's behavior. Well, I would think good behavior is for everybody. Also, in my opinion, that in this person's opinion, who is a lawyer in the state of Ohio, and we also took a vote to be represented or be able to have representation or assistance from a local attorney who works for the school district, Ms. Sharice Lee, who also represents me in a case with them. So I'm disclosing that now. I think we should get a legal opinion from her, because at this point, in my mind, I don't know how we can investigate when it's right here, and we said it was legally posted, the meeting was legally posted, it was legally posted. So they were meeting and discussing city business, and I don't know where from the audience, somebody screams out and tell them they're just finna disperse, and that the administration runs this, okay? If the administration had a time constraint for the city council, it would seem the professional thing to do. The orderly thing to do is to let them know, because when meetings are posted, there's never an ending time. When we post our meetings, well, I don't know about ours, but when all the city council meetings say start at 6 o'clock, it's never a closing time. You have no way of knowing if the quorum is going to be made. This is in here for a reason. So with that being said, and with us having a budget, I think we should seek professional legal opinion. And since Ms. Trishelle said she couldn't do it, and since we know Mr. Kim has been less than direct with us in the past, and he left this out because he could have said there was not a legal quorum. However, in section 3-203, it does speak to smaller groups convening. He left that part out. So I'm not comfortable with that legal opinion. So I would think as a board, with the authority to get a true legal opinion, and we have somebody that's willing to give us one, I think we should move it forward and let somebody give us a legal opinion. And if they say it's nothing there, fine. And if they say it is something there, then we move it forward. I think that's our job as an ethics and accountability board.
So I'll just say this.
You didn't raise your hand.
I'll just say
And
this.
he just
But you
speaking out
didn't
and
raise your
unrecognized.
hand, and you was not recognized.
Interesting, you want other people to follow the rules.
And then
I
she too,
just
her
raised
too.
my hand, because he has said something.
Point of information, Mr. Chair. I'm trying to get some clarity here. Because if you did some outside research, why didn't you bring it back to the committee for us to all discuss as a whole?
Because I just done this, because I have a day job that's very demanding, and that's why when you're emailing me, I'm not sitting at my computer every day. But I did give you my phone number. I don't have any texts or phone calls from you, which is fine. But I'm sharing that information now. Now, if you wanna call me or catch up with me, or we wanna do something different, but I'm not at beck and call.
But it,
Ain't no what, this is the charter,
Yes.
and that's what it is, and I'm laying it out now.
Let's get back, we're not done with this, let everybody talk and then we get around to it. Edmund,
Ms. Johnson.
answer,
So I was wondering, in this report, I don't see anything about police being present at the, when Mr. Taylor had an episode at the city council meeting. I do not see, police present. So where did you get your information from? What video did you watch? How do you know who was called? Because there was multiple police officers there. So that was a stage outburst. We can, you can be confused if you want to. I ain't confused. Cause I tell
first
my,
of all-
no, first
first
of
of
all,
all-
first of all,
I'm
don't
not- but
interrupt
I'm
me when I
withdrawing,
talk.
but
No, I don't care what you
Man,
say, don't interrupt me when I talk.
Hold
So
on.
I'm asking you about how.
hold on, let's get back.
It's clear with the
Hold on,
DA,
hold on.
I'm gonna go to, I ain't got this kind of time. I get up at 4 in the
We're not
morning.
dealing with fighting.
Yeah.
Y'all just
This
keep
is
your
ridiculous.
voices down. There's no reason to address anybody in a hostile voice.
Ain't nobody being hostile, but
I mean, you.
He's interrupting.
It's
He
intimidating to me, and I'm not
trying
even
to-
involved.
Well, if
But
you
I'm
wouldn't
trying to
interrupt, she
ask
wouldn't
No,
intimidate.
we need to talk at a decent tone to each other.
Right, and
We
when somebody's
doing the
speaking.
same thing city council doing.
Okay,
So let's calm down.
She had.
but I had the floor
I
and
know,
he
I
interrupted.
understand that, but let's calm down.
But I'm not
Well,
hyping.
what about that part, that she had the floor? What about
Okay,
that?
I
Yeah.
respect the fact that
So-
she had this floor.
Yeah, that will never happen.
Direct
Ever.
that to
Okay.
him,
Ever.
because he was out of line. And I raised my hand.
Look, here's the point, people, is, and what part do you think the child was violation? It doesn't matter who.
This
did what or
section,
who
this
did
section
what.
right here,
You let section 303.
that is crawled out 10 times and haven't highlighted.
Okay, well,
Oh.
here's,
But we should, I'm trying to ask the question, because I need to understand, how did they come up with this information? And with this information, there's no
Okay.
police present, there's some facts I see that's
Okay.
missing in here, so how can I approve something if I'm trying to figure out,
well, you was asking.
no,
Yeah,
but
man,
he
he was gonna ask, he was
hold
gonna
on,
answer.
hold on,
wasn't
sidekick,
finished.
but I wasn't finished talking.
Whoa,
Be
whoa,
respectful.
whoa.
That's not
let's
necessary.
please, let's be
No,
respectful.
because he's
Is
trying
that
to be,
disrespectful?
it's not
Calm down,
disrespectful,
sidekick.
he was trying to.
That's when you're doing stuff like that.
No, but
Be
that
fair.
was
Be fair
disrespectful,
to everybody.
because we never talked to anybody like that.
Okay, well, don't be rude and don't be overbearing with your position.
I was never overbearing,
So you
overbearing.
think you weren't?
I was, you know what, okay.
Yeah, thank you. So I'm just trying to figure out how did we come up and how some missing parts are missing in this report. You want me to vote on closing this, but then you don't want to answer my question. And then when I do when I try to gather some information, now everybody all hostile.
So,
Let me.
And the video's been altered.
Let me get to, what we're doing now is discussion, we're not voting on anything. We're discussing it. If you got something to discuss, you can give what you think. You can ask the question you want, you can give what you want, and then everyone get to.
I just asked the
Yes.
question. Police were present at this incident. Police were called. So where did they get the video from? Why weren't the police officers mentioned in this paper? Because he came, Mr. Taylor came to that council meeting with the police behind him. So, I mean, it's some missing pieces.
What,
if I may, from
Go ahead.
the committee's standpoint. So that's where me and Trishelle, we were trying to ask for what information, because I wasn't at the last meeting. So we were asking, what was it that the board wanted us to review? We kept asking for it. Mr. Julian did respond back and told us what the situation was and what the board was looking at. So from that standpoint, that's what we addressed it. Nothing was mentioned about police presence. Nothing was mentioned about it. What was mentioned was about Mr. Taylor's outburst and his decorum. We got that. And so from that standpoint, we went back to the drawing board, and that's when we came up with the conclusion when it says a smaller number may convene and adjourn from time to time. What we looked at it is for instance, when we have our board meetings and we don't need quorum, we quickly open it up, and because with lack of quorum, we immediately adjourn the meeting.
So they have to do that?
Yes, they do. They have to.
Why? Where is it written that they have to?
It says a smaller number may convene and adjourn from time to time. So that deals
Does it
with.
say speedy, hurry
But
up?
that
Don't put a time restraint.
let me finish. That deals with quorum. So when quorum is met and you can discuss business, but you can't make decisions. So when you call a special meeting, there is no quorum. You call to open up for quorum, and then you quickly adjourn the meeting. Now afterwards, there can be discussion afterwards to discuss business, but you can't take any actions. That is the proper protocol for all boards.
No.
Excuse me, I'm still making let me finish.
Okay.
That's proper protocol and decorum for all boards, all councils, even in Congress, and even in the US Senate. That's proper. If there is no quorum, you have to call it, and then you convene and you disperse. Now, whoever is left want to discuss, they can discuss. So that's how we tackled it from this point of view. So in addressing the complaint, we did acknowledge that there was no quorum met. That was basically the basis of the complaint. Was quorum met for the dispersal of the special meeting. So at that point, it really wasn't a special meeting for council. It was just them talking. Now, we did come to the agreement that we do not know why Mr. Taylor acted in the way that he did. We did agree to that. But as far as addressing what were the core issues of the complaint and what it was about, and clearly, the complaint clearly says, what resolution are you looking for? Investigation into why the meeting was disrupted. Complaint made, Ed Taylor disrupting special meeting. Investigate hearing into reference to ARPA committee. Discriminatory political orientation. From what the complaint says is how we handled it. The complaint never talked about decorum, and decorum and ethics are on two different spectrums. Also, Mr. Taylor wasn't, and this is what we were saying, we don't know where Mr. Taylor got the authority from to convene the meeting. We don't, to close it out or say this is a legal meeting or how he handled it. We looked into it. We couldn't find anything. We don't know why he did it. We did ask to meet and we did ask to talk. We really couldn't come up with anybody. Nobody else would come forward to really say, well, either he took this on his own initiative, but we do know that the administration is responsible for the controlling of the office in the building. Why they did that, I don't know. We're just being flat out honest with you. But in dealing with it, with the way the complaint was written, that's how we handle it.
I just want clarification. You said we did ask to meet. We asked who to meet?
According to, in the last meeting that I was at.
Who are you saying, who asked who to meet, is what I'm trying to find out. It sounded like you saying the committee asked something of the administration or somebody to meet, which we did not do. So I don't want that to be a misunderstanding, if anybody.
No, I'm
has-
sorry, forgive me, no, forgive me, I apologize.
Okay,
I
just want that clear.
no, I apologize, I was going off of what I read off of reading this and reading in the minutes, I'm sorry about that. No, so we discussed as a conglomerate as ourselves, and that's from reviewing the video. So no, we didn't meet with city administration or anybody like that, we just dealt with the complaint and as it was laid out. We didn't know about anything extra because it wasn't addressed to us to look at the additional extra.
Sure, that you. Flint, go ahead.
So I wanted to know, I know we had prior meetings about the ARPA money that did not have a quorum. So why was that meeting not interrupted, but this particular meeting was interrupted? Is there a reason why? Because history is important. History is important. What was done so wrong that this meeting had to be interrupted? And why haven't we received a statement from Mr. Taylor about his reasoning? So how do we make this decision when we have not heard from Mr. Taylor? Mr. Taylor ain't said nothing. He has not came here unless you guys have a written document for him to explain why he had that, his behavior was very, gangster-like. That's how I would put
Exactly.
it. That was some gangster stuff.
Mobster stuff.
So, I mean, did we get that information?
That wasn't requested.
But you did, but you're looking for findings and you're doing a research. I'm trying to understand how, what did you dig into?
We dug into the question at hand. That's it. Nothing more, nothing less.
Okay, from what I heard him say, it said something about political position in Mr. Mays' complaint. He feels like,
This is discriminatory political orientation.
okay, Mr. Taylor screamed out, the administration run this,
Yes, he did.
okay? So that supports political orientation, because who run this don't, and first of all, whatever you said, how it's supposed to go, by law, whoop-de-whoop-de-whoop. The fact is, nobody from the audience makes those decisions for any board. Congress, whoever, all those people you name, is allowing nobody from the audience to chair their meeting. Okay? So that's disruptive, because it spoke about disruptive fashion in the complaint.
Give me some additional clarity on that. I mean,
If he jump up and say it's time to go, the administration run this. Police, they got to go. They got to go. Administration run this.
Oh, okay, I see what you're saying.
Okay. And then there's 2 or 3 more citizens sitting over there, and he orders the police to toss them up out of here too, along with city council.
Does he work for the administration?
He does.
Okay.
He does. That's why it's political orientation, because he's speaking for his political team, the administration. He stated that, I didn't say it, and the meeting has been spliced where the police are approaching people. That's important to an investigation, especially if you're saying disruptive behavior. Oh, nothing disrupts a good time like the police coming to bounce you up out of someplace. So I find that to be true. Now the problem we having with the investigation now is the actual true video has been doctored, and this board requested to have undoctored video when we look at these cases, so we can make a pure and authentic decision as it pertains to the evidence. Now it's evident this was political when somebody screamed, because if I gotta go, it don't matter who run it. You gotta be out of here at 7 o'clock. Y'all have to shut it down. You have to be out of here. See, it don't matter. See, the Ethics and Accountability Board run this. Either I got a board or I don't. It don't matter who run it. See, that's a problem. You're bullying. You're intimidating. You're taking over. That's what I found. I've never been to a meeting where and I've been on several boards. I've never been to a board meeting, whether I make quorum or not, where an audience member that's not in participation of the meeting shouts out, it's time for me to go, and the police is approaching me and finna toss me up out. I've never experienced that.
But how many council members were there? They didn't intervene in any.
The councilman had already declared that it wasn't a meeting.
Right, but the
Well-
councilmen were there, they didn't have order in that room?
Well, whether the councilman, Eric Mays tried to get order.
Right.
And Ed Taylor told him he finna put the police on him, he finna get up out of there at 7 o'clock. See, and that's another reason why, all the board members that's gonna make a vote need to have the opportunity to look at the video for themselves, undoctorated. Because if we're gonna be taken seriously, then we have to be serious. Because it is irresponsible for us to have a video in full, and we sitting up here, like you said, with our precious time, arguing amongst each other, being political, because if we for the right thing, let the evidence speak for itself. I didn't make nobody do nothing on that video. Y'all didn't either. What's the problem? Are we wrong for looking at the video? How come we haven't done that as a board? You need a special ad hoc committee to do that? Because just like he feel like I should have been looked at this, well, I have a day job. I have to investigate when I can. But when we're all here together, united, making legal decisions for people, since people's political position is so important, and we hold so much power and so much authority, and we have to be so mindful of what we say, and we coming together collectively, why wouldn't we look at the evidence collectively? My vote as an ad hoc member is to move this forward for further investigation, allow maybe Ms. Sharice Lee to look into it. That's my recommendation that's my recommendation.
You can't speak on behalf of the committee.
Well, you can't either.
This is the, I can.
You one person.
No,
Y'all
we're two
two.
people.
Right, and I'm one person on the
We have to
committee.
vote on that.
Right.
But the committee recommendation is what
Right.
this report is, not what she's
Well, I'm not
recommending.
speaking on that. I'm not speaking on yours. I'm doing I'm wrapping mine up. Do you mind?
I mind when you ain't getting it right.
I got it right.
Okay,
That's what I
We
found.
still in discussion.
That's why I bust out that 3.203
When I
on.
went to the
We still in
restroom.
discussion. Mr.
Yes, on this.
I'm sure he's watching if you ask him.
He's downstairs.
Mr.
Yeah, just call him over there.
Did you have,
Yeah, I just wanted to, say that, we did, mention the fact that we wanted to get an opinion from, Mr. Taylor about what was his reasoning and what was he, speaking on when he,
That's why I bust out that.
You feel privileged.
when he spoke at the council meeting that they was having. That was just something that we talked about at the last meeting, the reason why we voted to send it back to the ad hoc committee. So we can find out what his take was on, was they late getting out of the meeting, they had a certain time, what was his reasoning behind it? That's what I was asking about, and she mentioned it when she was talking about where is his information. So it was something that I wanted to find out what he was thinking, you know, what was the late meeting that was already behind, and they just over at the county building, they had till 9 o'clock until they had to be out, and at 9 o'clock they had to be out. So what was his reason? That's all I was asking.
Well, so it sounds like the board needs to, as Ms. McIntosh is asking, it needs to be handled by the board. Because what the committee, you can't keep sending stuff to the committee and then we do this work and we come back with a recommendation and you say, I don't wanna do that, do this. If the board wants to watch the video, then we need to set a time and a date to watch the video. Get the video and watch it.
Yeah, that's
But
fair.
it's not gonna keep coming to this committee.
Yeah, that's fair.
And for us to do something because I don't think anything the committee does is gonna be acceptable by these two. So if that's how it's gonna be, then why are we spinning wheels if that's what's going on?
And then also,
one at a time, I got,
I may have missed something, but what is Mr. Taylor's title?
chief of staff.
Chief of staff.
And he used to be an ex-council person.
So he knows.
He knows the rules.
So, let me is that one thing you're talking about, looking at the tape, those tapes belong to the council. To, and I don't know whether Paul have, except for what he do with his own, because organization, because someone else tape to someone else without them, without they,
Are we paying Paul?
we not paying for the council tapes.
Okay, well.
We only pay Paul for our
Our tapes.
tapes. That's the only thing that.
So nobody's getting paid for it. Well, somebody probably got it. Other people film
Well,
it.
I mean,
Other
those,
people film.
well, those things are on, they is on YouTube just like they did. The live meeting, they're still on YouTube, on the set. But, the other thing is, I'm still not seeing here where there was there was a violation of the charter. One thing that I will say, and I think there's a ruling made, and Mr. Mays keep bringing it up, made by the city attorney office on whether, when he made the ruling, and I think what they used to call it, that the city attorney might be in a little audit, he just answered what is asked. But there is, if you read the charter here, and he made a ruling that the council said more than 3 or more council people can meet and discuss business. He made that to the council. That it was legal, and if you read, it is part of section Proverb 3:201, Proverb C, where Proverb B, then you get down past where the council meet at least 2 or 3 times a month, that's the charter say. But then as you read here, say, time and place that's just stated in the city council rule. All meeting called for purpose discussing city of Flint business, and all gathering of 3 or more city council members that with city of Flint business discussed shall be public notice shall be given in the manner provided by the statute for meeting of public body. That's a different than the meeting to call for city business and the council meeting. And I'm wondering, this charter is saying, and I think Mr. Kim gave that ruling when he told, and that's where Mr. Mays say, well, you can't do that. Well, if you go about quorum, and it's a city council meeting, you can't, but if you, and he said that 3 or more council people can meet, that came from the city attorney office. And I believe this is where he was referring to when he said that. And now, was that a city council meeting, or was that a meeting to discuss city council business?
So that.
I had it next.
Hold a minute.
My hand was up, and you
Yeah,
recognized. But
okay.
he's,
I ain't had nobody have it yet, I'm still.
well, he was about to talk.
Okay. That's settled. But then, 'cause I was going to, before I got through, I was gonna refer to Mr. Bush. Did you read that, Mr. Bush?
3301. 3201.
I want, yeah,
3201.
yeah,
3201B.
B.
Oh, I thought you said C.
Yeah, the second part of it, after.
Second.
I got it written up.
Oh, I'm getting to it here.
That's what I had, that's been something been said for,
Wait, 3-201B.
Yes.
yeah, the problem last part of it, after you got, as you get past the time of council meeting, 2 months.
Yeah, okay, so
We're speaking about true.
they must meet at least 2 times per month at such times and places as stated in the city council rules.
Other part is what I'm looking at.
All meetings called for the purpose of discussing city of Flint business. All gatherings of 3 or more council at which business is discussed shall be public and public notice shall be given. Okay, so what is the question?
Is that saying that 3 or more council can meet to discuss city business?
All this technically says is that any meeting called for the discussion of city business and all gatherings of 3 or more city council members at which business is discussed shall be public and public notice shall be given.
And it was.
Okay, so that was given, so based on the ruling or the opinion that I see that was given earlier in the year, the council meeting, that 3 or more council people can meet to discuss business. Now, because we get back down to special meeting, we get down to quorum, which is still on the council meeting. So, so you're talking about 2 different things. What was this meeting called? Is it legal? Is it, that's how I had to get that.
Point of clarity, just for clarity. So, Mr. Bush, is there a difference between section 3-201 in regards to meetings and section 3-202 in regards to special meetings?
I can't tell you off the top of my head. I mean, there are different sections, but I'm not gonna opine and give an opinion when you've already gotten an opinion. I mean, if you need clarification on the opinion, I would prefer that it be sent to us in writing.
Okay, because this is why I asked you that. The opinion that was asked, that was given here, is what that was a quorum for council meeting. And that was not a quorum, but it was, if this other section said something different, I think it was rule on something that the council gave up with, that it might be, I don't know, but
That's why we want things in writing, because there's no dispute as to what was asked if it's in writing.
Yeah, I think,
Okay, so I have a question. So I just wanna get some clarity. At the last meeting, we did not have this written document. So, this meeting, we now have this document because we said that we wanted something in writing, right?
Yeah.
So it's not that we keep sending stuff back to the ad hoc committee. It's just that when you guys came last time, you were without any written information. Is that what happened at the last meeting? Because that's what I remember.
Now, we did submit a written report at the last meeting.
I mean, you didn't get a full written copy of,
It was, you reread it.
yeah, I didn't get a sample of any copy.
and remember when we decided to send it back, I was on that ad hoc committee, was here with this back in touch me.
They never got our report last time? You didn't make copies for everybody?
I don't think so, we read it, and
So
so I wanted to
you-
make sure it was okay.
So you guys never saw the opinion or anything?
I
We saw our opinion.
I don't see
Right,
that.
and then and then I have another question. So if we're following the charter and it's, and for the council people, does that three rule, the three-member body, does that still apply to us? So can these three meet?
The ad hoc committee, yeah.
I know, but, so we don't follow the same rules as the charter? I mean, I'm just trying to understand, because you know, I'm new to this.
I'm trying to, what do you ask me?
Because I think he just was referring to when, if three of the council people meet, right? Then what? They can't, can you clarify that for me? With three council members meeting, they cannot meet if it's three of them, right? But they can meet.
Well, that's
So
what-
does that rule apply to us as well?
No, we're not discussing as a council. The child is specific, talk to the council.
So these three right here could have met in person and they would not have violated anything.
No, it's because they were just ad hoc committee.
Okay.
Yeah, no. That,
And where is that rule?
for what?
Did you?
There's not a rule in the charter that tells. The only way you would find anything close to that would be in, state rule. The charter do not even address that for committee. It's do say you had to have a quorum to make the vote on decision. It don't say anything about meeting and discussing. We can't vote to do anything without a quorum.
Okay, I
But we
mean,
do.
and I get it, I'm just trying to get real clear. I'm trying to understand because
But
I'm just trying to figure out, okay, so you clarified that, but in January when the council met, and they didn't, it was not 5 in attendance, I think it was, first ward, third ward, fifth and sixth ward council members that met. Nobody interrupted or kicked them out of, is it because they were in the chambers?
well, I don't, like I say, we're trying to figure out, I don't know how the council meet. The only thing we can talk about it was complaint.
That's, I mean, but I'm.
But I don't know.
Because that was a comment made when Mr. Taylor barged in. He said on the video, we run this over here, y'all run the chamber. So explain that.
Okay, but what he probably saying, and I don't know.
See,
Like
that's
he
why I
speak
was-
for it.
Then why would you
I'm
say
trying to
that
answer.
again? Why would you say
That's
that?
what I'm trying to answer. What I'm saying, I can't answer, but what it sounds like he was saying is the administration
Oh, he said that.
runs,
He said that.
and they would not allow them to meet that, but if they want to have that meeting, they probably in the chamber, in the council chamber, we probably wouldn't have been able to do that. I don't know, but that's what it sounds like. If they was upstairs in the council chamber, then
Okay,
that's
so-
what it sounds like. I can't, I don't
So that's
know.
political orientation.
Well,
what you think?
Well, the child don't give us,
So
we don't
when
investigate
we
that.
go
The
invite
complaint
Mr.
says that.
Taylor here to.
Yeah,
This is the thing. Oh, go ahead. I'm
but
sorry.
was they legally, it was administration legal to say you cannot meet in here. Because we could, this come up under administration. We're not giving you authorization to be here.
Wouldn't they would have had to tell them that before the meeting? Because they got a whole secretary
I don't
that
know.
he could have conveyed that to.
I don't know, but that was part of the complaint. So let's stick with, I just want to stick with the complaint. I can't,
Yeah.
yeah, go ahead, what you got?
I'm trying to understand why we sitting here putting words in people's mouth and guessing when this board voted that we can have independent counsel, and now it seems this board wants to use everybody except this independent counsel. And I think it's because we got two pieces in the charter that speaks to less than a quorum being allowed to meet. And it sounds like we create wiggle room. But if we're not, we can easily pass this on to somebody that can interpret this on a legal level and get another legal opinion of somebody that will engulf the whole charter and let us know and bring it back. I don't understand why we can't do that. It seems like, is we breaking the law if we get legal opinion? Because because at this point, what's the point? Because it sounds like we're trying to really throw this out when we got some stuff in the charter that shows us it may be a violation here. And since none of us are authorities in the charter, it seems like we could take this a step further and get some people that have trained eyes and knowledge of the justice system. Because like you said, this is people's career, their reputations and stuff. And I don't want to, well, let's not pass it on.
Yeah, that's, because there's things in the charter that tell, one thing is, you have to exhaust everything in the charter, and we have to prove that whole thing. One thing is to say that city attorney, law department, is here to enforce the charter. We had to make sure that they're not enforcing it wrong. And
And so now we police them now. We can't even make a decision at this table. Now we policing the city attorney.
We going by the charter. You can't, first you go by the charter. Now, if they got something, that's.
He left a portion out. He left a portion out, Mr.
Let's
King.
let's keep an open mind and just don't think that people don't let.
It's
let's
not
look
that,
at-
Mr.
let's-
King. It's not that. Why can't we get some professional help? Why do we always have to guess? Why do you want to guess? Why do we have to guess? Why do we always have to hope somebody's being honest with us instead of doing our due diligence?
Well, that's what I'm trying to do, let this board make sure we are doing everything.
If we got it wrong, I'm sure they'll let us know.
Well, let's make sure we have used up all our options.
Man, we all over the place.
Man, I'm out of here. Y'all have a blessed day.
Carol, before you leave, I have a question. What provision of the charter do you think was violated?
I'm gonna go home and do some research, the one I recited to you, but I'm gonna go home and read it line for line and bust it all the way down. But right there, to me, in my mind, is enough information, especially on top of what Mr. King compiled on top of it today, seems to me that is enough to move forward to get a professional opinion. And then, like I said, this board knows when we have dealt with legal in the past, we have came up a little short in some areas that we should not have came up short. So I just want to get some other opinions so that we can be professional and on track and doing the right thing by the citizens and this board for once. Instead of, because you talk about let's not play sides and take special interest in all this. Well, let's move this forward and let them handle it or somebody else handle it. Because to me, in my mind, this is where I'm at with it. It seems to be a violation to me. Now, if it goes forward and a professional outside of the city's attorney tells me there's no violation, then I can live with that. Even if I feel like they're wrong, I can live with it. But just to accept his word after seeing how things have went for so long, the lack of support that has been there consistently not, and then to keep putting this back in their lap, I just feel like we're complicit. I feel like we are political because we can always come down on city council, but we got this one thing and we got black and white that makes it look questionable, and we too cowardly to nail this thing down and to get a yay or a nay. So on that, I'm leaving. I will not make an uninformed decision. I'm not going to be rushed. And I'm not going to let nobody slide when I see people have been violated. I would have never wanted to be treated like that as a citizen or a city council person. And for this board to sit here and act like that was okay, many board members as y'all have been in, how many times somebody from the public then tossed you out? I don't care where you at. So I'm gone because I'm not going to pretend.
One other thing.
No, one other thing. I'm gone.
My question, well, two things. One, per the notice that was given, and that's one of the things that we did look up as well. The notice clearly says section 3.202. I understand that's in regards to calling the special meeting, but it was for a special meeting. And we did take a look at that, but now when you look at 3-2, when you look at, excuse me, I don't want to misquote it. When you look at 3.201B, it seems like that it says all meetings called for the purpose of discussing city business, and all gatherings of 3 or more city council members in which the city of Flint business is discussed shall be public and public notice given. I'm just wondering, is there a difference in saying, okay, we didn't make quorum, but here's a special meeting noticed in case we don't meet quorum where we can discuss. That's something that I thought about as well when I was looking at that.
And you know what, I brought that, you remember when Ms. Mays complained about Ms. Heckerroda, Ms. Priestley, Ms. Doris, and Wesley was meeting, and he claimed they was meeting and the rest of council wasn't. And he had told the council that they could leave the meeting. You know, Ms. Mays
He
keep
told
bringing
them
up,
that
I
4 of
didn't
them could legally meet and
Well,
not be a public
he told
meeting.
them more than, he said more than 3, Mays bring it up all the time. He bring it up all the time in the meeting that you told them that they could meet, and I know they couldn't meet. But
Do we have a copy of that legal opinion?
no, I didn't have that opinion. That was one, he never gave that opinion. He said that in a public meeting, when that question was asked. And I know Mays bring it up all the time.
But you're saying,
I haven't seen it because I was doing it with the council.
but are you saying the city attorney said he never gave that opinion, or am I misunderstanding?
No. He said, I know he did, because I was at the meeting that he said they could meet.
That 4 council people can meet, and it not be a public meeting, discussing city business? I just want to be
They could
clear.
meet and talk. I don't want to put words because I had to go back and look at it. But that, he said that they could meet and it wouldn't be a violation. Now, specific words, I couldn't, but I could look at it for to say. But I think he made that, and he never come out, but I know Mr. Mays keep bringing it up. But when we started talking about this, and we keep talking about where they had a council meeting and a quorum. And I go back to this, and if this is what he was speaking of, he never asked about this. And Mr. Bain never asked him to show it where it said. I think it's just, you don't ask me, I just ask you what you tell me. So, I call it Bill the Tony, but yeah, quorum they couldn't. So, I don't know, but I do remember, and I'm thinking, just this is my word. I think he probably speaking on without coming out saying it. That's where you find about the charter. That's what I'm thinking. So I don't know. And we have to see. Juju.
I think what he's referring to is the fact that Attorney Kim gave a legal opinion to the council people that was having a discussion amongst themselves, that they can have discussion amongst themselves because it's not a quorum, and as long as they're not making any legal decisions, then they would not violate the Open Meetings Act. But Councilman Mays was saying that that's not true because of the fact, what was they discussing? They were making decisions to vote on.
So they were discussing city business.
Yeah, amongst themselves, as if he knew or not. I don't know if he knew or not what their discussion was, but he was taking it as if they were creating a camaraderie amongst each other to vote when the meeting gets a quorum.
So Councilman Mays didn't know what the topic of discussion was. But if they were discussing city business, I would agree with Councilman Mays that they can't do that without it being in a public forum.
So he was challenging the fact that they were taking action amongst themselves
They were
Right.
conspiring to take action.
conspiring to take action amongst themselves, and the city attorney said that it's okay for them to meet. And that 3201 is saying that the three council people can meet for discussion. Now, the
Now,
discussion
it
makes
has
a
to be a
difference.
public forum.
In a public forum.
Right.
There you go. So that's the difference. Now, this meeting, even if it was a just discussion, if a resident or anybody is out of hand, they have to put them in check. That's why we was asking, what was the reasoning behind the chief of staff for telling them they couldn't continue their meeting? Or what was it? Did he tell them they can't? Or
I'm gonna be honest with you. So and this was just looking at the video, what prompted it was the moment Councilman Murphy said we lack quorum, and because we lack quorum and we cannot take up city business, this meeting is illegal. Now, this came out of one of the sitting council members' mouths that was there. After that statement was made, that's when Mr. Taylor came in and said, because this meeting is illegal, we're breaking it up. It never was addressed until Councilman Murphy said it. And it came, and we looked at the time, index and everything, so we wanted to be sure. So we went back and said, okay, let's really take a look at this and see, because we wanted to know when Mr. Taylor came in. And it was after Councilman Murphy made that statement. A few seconds later, Mr. Taylor came in and repeated word for word what Councilman Murphy said, and used that as justification to end the meeting. Now, that was on the video.
So I have a question for you.
Excuse me, Nicole.
So if he say we, who were the we he was referring to when he busted up that meeting? Because if he just busted up that meeting, it would be, I said so. You said that he used the pronoun we. So who were the we? Him and who else bust up that meeting?
Were you quoting what he said?
No. I'm forgetting.
Okay.
No. I was
You just
no.
quoted
I-
Quincy's
Yeah,
order from
yeah, no,
Councilman Sexual.
That's what I wouldn't quite quote him what Mr. Taylor said. I just said Mr. Taylor used what Mr. Murphy said. He repeated it back.
Okay,
But I can tell you word for word, that's exactly what Councilman Murphy said.
okay.
And it wasn't until after that was said, that's immediately, like literally. If you listen to the video,
It's at the 50-minute mark.
it's at the 15-minute mark. You hear clink. That's the doors. That's that hinge coming open off of that lock. And he immediately repeats Councilman Murphy's words back, and that's where we were at. So, because then, and this is something else that the committee, me and Trishelle talked about. Why didn't City Council, and this is what we were trying to figure out, why didn't City Council stand up
That's what I'm saying.
for its 4 members, even if they were discussing business in a public forum? We were trying to find out, why did City Council not send a letter by saying these 4 council people, quorum was not met for a special meeting. We get that. They were discussing city business, but no official letter went out to them. Forgive me, I'm shaking because it's cold. Standing up or protecting anything that happened in that council meeting, and that's what we were trying. That's what we were trying to figure out, because in the when we were dealing with the complaint, we were dealing with it just from the basis of what it was said. But we were trying to really figure out, why didn't City Council itself send something to administration in regards to this.
Okay.
There was no, if you understand what I mean, there was no dialect between council and the administration if this was, you know,
That you know of.
that I know of. Now, I don't know if a letter of admonishment was sent out. I don't know.
Okay, so in your findings, if you don't mind, in your findings, why is there not a letter attached from Mr. Ed Taylor? Because there should have been an interview. In order for you to, shouldn't there be an interview with Mr. Taylor in regards to what happened? You know, hearing from his side, is nothing in this report where I hear his voice.
So, that's the pleasure of the board, because the ad hoc committee turns it over to the board. So we gather what they said. They recommend this, just like if the board recommends removal of a council person from their seat indefinitely. That's just the recommendation that this board gives to them.
I get that, but.
And then, let me say, and then they have to look into and make the decision or get more information if needed to make that vote stick as recommended. So what we have to do is take what they gave us. You feel like there's some more information needed, address that information that you think is needed, along with anybody else in the board, and we take that and we complete this as an investigation or as information to make our final decision.
Okay, I get that, but she has included, the committee has included these 10, these 10 steps or 10
Principles of ethics.
principles of ethics.
Mhm.
Okay, and then they highlighted, or they highlighted number 6. So they made, basically, this is telling us this is what we want to see happen from our committee, our ad hoc committee. So they've already made a decision.
That's good. That's the committee's decision.
Okay.
That's the recommendation.
Okay.
So now, as a board member, I take that information and I add to it what I think needs to be applied to that recommendation. Is it in conflict with what I think? Ask more questions, get more information, and then when we are ready to take a vote as a board, then my vote counts as
I
I
get
see
that,
it.
but then I want us to quit harping on whether or not it was a quorum or not, because we know that, and then we keep going back to the same rules that, you know, we keep reading these same rules over and over. I mean, okay, so what are we going to do next? Because
You write your opinion.
I respect you guys' findings, but I think that there's more that needs to be added to this report.
So you want to hear from Mr. Taylor, am I
I want to
correct?
hear from Mr.
So why doesn't the board
Not vote.
send a request to ask Mr. Taylor to come address it?
And I thought last week we were supposed to send a, you got the letter?
No, I'm saying, I read, when we went back to the approval of the minutes, I read in the minutes, 'cause I wasn't here, so I caught up in the minutes. I don't know if I saw it, but in the minutes, did the board vote to request to ask Mr. Taylor to come forward?
I didn't see no vote.
It may not
Yeah,
have
we
been.
didn't vote.
We didn't
didn't vote. It's just
Carol
that-
stated that we should talk to Ed Taylor,
Right.
and, but we didn't invite him.
Oh, okay.
It was suggested, that a formal letter be sent to him
Oh, so a vote never took place on the formal,
to
okay,
attend the next meeting.
okay. I mean,
And
I
he was
read the
supposed to attend this meeting.
No, it wasn't even a meeting. It wasn't even this
Well-
meeting. It was actually the committee, because we wanted the committee to look at,
Okay.
his rationale.
Is
But
that-
I understand going back and forth to the committee, keep going back and forth, I understand that. So I figured that we take the recommendation as written and we get what else we need as a board.
Now, I will say this, I will say this. If the board had said, committee, we want you to reach out to Mr. Taylor and get his understanding. We definitely would have done that. That's why I kept asking, what is it that you really, because I saw that you wanted us to dig deeper, and that's why I was trying to figure out, okay, what is it that you're feeling that we're missing, that we need to pull in all the evidence so that we can do what needs to be done? That's why I kept asking it.
And I'll tell you why I wasn't brought up, because, if I remember right, Ms. McIntosh said she was gonna do that. Talking to Mr. Taylor.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
She said she wanted to talk to him. I told her that's not good for her to talk to him.
Right.
She should send
So,
communication.
but that's why we have to be
Legal.
able to do the decision as a board and be on the same page.
We got about 10 minutes in case we need to take some action.
Okay. You got and that's really a discussion. You make something you see you wanna say that you don't agree with, or you wanna give your opinion, or you wanna say, well, this is what I think. Spit it out in the board. We all discuss it if it's something that the board takes a decision, which one is going to do it. So, just answer what you had. That is not something that they're saying this is what it's gonna be. This is what the board decides what we're gonna do with it. You can scratch anything off, but whatever you want to add to it, we take it and we do that. Go ahead.
But first of all, but Chair, I just want to accept the report as recommended. Don't mean that that's what we're going with, but we're going to continue our investigation as a board to complete this complaint, and so move.
I support that.
And move and second, order to end discussion.
Thank you for allowing the committee to come together and to pull this due diligence together. Now, I will say this, we did ask for all three committee members to come, and we wanted all three committee members to come. And I'll say this, I know we're all busy, trust me, I get it. That's why I wasn't here last Tuesday, because I was in a business conference. So I understand that, but yet and still, I want to let you know that I made time to meet off of work so that I could do what the board asked for us to do. Because why? You asked the committee to do it, and I felt as a working member of this committee that it was my goal to step out, to put aside my personal time, set some stuff aside, and do it for the board. And I just wanted to let you know, I don't have a problem working outside. If you ask me to come together, that's never been a problem with me. But it would have been, I'm just saying, it would have been nice if we had the full committee there together, where we would have had this dialogue, because then we would have gotten the other pieces that we were missing. And because Ms. McIntosh was absent, we weren't able to get the other pieces, and then we could have said, well, okay, well then fine, then let's just dig into this a little bit deeper. But when one person is absent, and it hampered what we were trying to do. So I just wanted to go off of that.
I just want to say thank y'all for diligently taking the time out your schedules. You're not going to be able to get every little piece. You may have somebody that just knows of something else that could have been. So I appreciate the time that you took out to do this and investigate as you did. So let me say.
This is a very good, thorough report, and I do like the recommendations, the 10 recommendations that were made, and this is something we probably all can follow.
But that's what that was for. That wouldn't aim at nobody. That's just.
No, it was aimed at everybody.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Right.
No, that's what I'm saying. It's aimed at everybody.
All the ethics is in here.
Yeah.
The basic ethics that's in our charter. you know, and I appreciate that, seeing it, you know, item by item.
And that's why we had the issue trying to figure out, that's why we did these 10 points, because we wanted to separate which was different from ethical and from decorum. Because that's what the biggest issue was. Was it decorum or was it ethics? And when we found out these 10 parts, we were like, okay, this is not ethical. This is now decorum, which is something totally different. But see, decorum only governs in ethics city council. That's where it stops at. It doesn't go abroad to anywhere else. It literally stops at city council when it comes to decorum.
And if I had read this before, I could have said something about words. If I had read that first, I understand everybody doesn't read that.
This is very clear, it's very clear.
Yeah, but I just said it a different way across it. I can understand the feedback I got, because I had never seen that, because I didn't have to go there if I had.
But it tells you we were seeing the same things.
Yeah, so any more discussion?
Yeah, so are we gonna bring Mr. Taylor in?
I'm sorry.
We
We have no choice.
I'm sorry, you're right.
Excessive.
Uh,
Well, I have one more comment before we vote, and that is, for our committees, we really need, if we only have 3 people on a committee, we need 3 people to participate. Because 3 minds are greater than 2. And especially with Carol, she's got a different disposition or mindset. That would have been beneficial to our committee, because we could have addressed those issues and brought a full recommendation where all of us were on the same page. It is not fair to a committee where one person does not participate and then comes and, attacks everything that the committee does. That's not how a committee can be effective on a board. So we need people who are gonna be, if they're not gonna work on the committee, Mr. King, they shouldn't be on that committee. Give us somebody that's gonna participate, that we can be fully effective. Because we're bearing the burden of the work. That's not fair to us.
And, well, I would talk to Ms. Carroll. I've been knowing a long time. I understand, I see that she's gonna be there.
She's made it very clear she's only designating this board time, and she's not meeting off of this time.
Okay,
So-
I'm telling, and that, well, I can't do that. The city is to the majority of the board. I have no intention of sitting up in this board meeting, look at movies, okay? I'm gonna look at mine before I get here. I'm gonna do my work if I get here.
But let's be fair, she's not here to defend herself, so really should her name be brought up if she's not here to defend herself?
Well, it's recorded.
I mean, I get it, but she's not here to counter.
Well, we're not. It's the facts that the board if that's what the board is saying, Ms. McIntosh is working the year, Ms. McIntosh decided to leave. But we're not gonna stop the meeting, and we're not gonna, I guess we can't stop talking about what we think this board needs to do to move on. I think it's a valid point that and not only Ms. McIntosh, me or anybody else with the board said, speaking, I'm not here to defend, then that's what it is. But if you see a problem with me, say it. Let me know. Because that's the only way we're gonna be what we need to be. I'm not gonna get offended because I think you're gonna make me better. That way, it always helped me in my life that when people let me know that I might not like it. But when I think about it as a part that I'm gonna change my ways on it. But, I understand what you're saying. I understand what this board is, but.
It is 7:28.
And we're gonna
2
start.
hours, and we only covered a few little things.
Right, and it's.
So we need to move on, vote and move on.
Yeah, because I got a couple of things I need to bring up right quick.
Okay.
Mr. Carter. Any more discussion? We are voting to
Accept
this
the report.
report,
Mhm,
and while we do more investigation
mhm,
on the report.
Accept the report, but not the recommendation.
Right. The report. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Opposed. We will move to P-card right quick.
No, Billy wanted to bring in Ed Taylor,
Yeah.
so we should maybe vote on that.
Yeah.
Just,
Yeah, Taylor, how are we gonna,
We gotta put a motion on.
yeah, you have to put a motion.
You want to bring him in, send him a letter, what do we want to do?
what are our steps? What do we do first, second, third? I
Well-
mean, do we ask him first before we?
Well, I guess we could
You can have
send
him to come in.
him a letter, ask him
That's
what
what
he, what he thought was on that, and he can reply back. We think we need to go further, ask him to come further, then we do
If
that.
he responds,
I think that's
we,
better.
if
I
he
think-
don't, then we can ask for the come in.
Yeah, now we do ask for, if you come in person, thank you, but if you, like, we've had council people to write in a written response.
I
So,
get that, but I'm just
yeah.
saying, what are your steps? What do you do first, second, third?
Yeah, the first,
You know, so,
the first one would be to send him a certified, letter requesting, his position on this matter and in this matter, and let him respond to it. And then once that's done, if he doesn't respond, then that's when it escalates. But if he sends a response, then we put it in together and then we discuss it.
so we send a he can send in a written response. I think I would prefer him to come in person. So if that option in the letter would be, give him the option of would he like to come in? Because if we keep going back and forth with a written letter.
I just think that we're dealing with, government, city government, just like we all have lives or we all have jobs. He have a job, let him do his job on a his day-to-day operation. Take the time out to respond to the questions that we may have. If we have certain questions, what was your position, what was going on with that meeting, why were you?
In the meeting,
Yeah, so
abruptly, or whatever.
let him respond. If we get that information, and we're not satisfied, then we go to another step. But
Okay, we all have lives and I get that, but my thing is this right here. If he was bold enough to disrupt that meeting, he should be bold enough to come and confront and give us more of an explanation in person. Because
Yes.
he did his behavior in person. So he took the time out to do that.
yeah, but the protocol of our board is to send a letter, get response. If we need, then we request.
How long do you want to give him to respond?
10 days.
Yeah, we normally do
We normally do 10 days.
We'll do it next meeting.
Yes.
What questions do you want asked? So we can be clear, we don't want to come back and say, you didn't ask the right questions.
But is there a set of questions? I mean, is there a set of questions?
No,
that-
it's just Jermaine.
I would like to ask if anybody directed him to move out the city council members in the public.
Okay.
Mhm.
To move out to end the
End the
meeting?
meeting.
In the meeting and move them,
What
To end the meeting
authority,
and vacate the dome?
yes.
yeah,
All right.
I mean, what authority he had,
Yes, if he was directed.
and
Okay, so that's not what you're asking a separate question, that's
Was he
not what
doing
his
it
question.
under his authority, that what you said?
And whose authority you, I'm trying
His
to-
question that I have is, did anyone direct you to end the meeting and vacate the dome?
Yes.
Okay, that's his question, so I think you were saying another
I'm not
question.
saying we have to ask him that.
No, it's fine.
No, no, no,
I just
no,
wanna
no,
be
no.
clear on what questions you want to ask.
That's a good question to
Yeah.
ask.
You were asking on what authority,
What authority did he
On what
have,
authority?
and what was the reason for him to use that authority
okay, on what authority did you act
that he acted on, yeah.
on to end the meeting?
I'll add a question.
Hold on.
I'm sorry.
On what authority did you act to end the meeting, and what was your second part?
What authority did he have to act on to end the meeting?
Right, but I thought
To
you,
remove,
and did you say, and what was the reason for it?
He said, whose authority do you have to end the meeting and what was the reason to use that authority?
Oh, okay, that's
Mhm.
How many,
what was the reason?
how
for
many,
using that
how many
authority?
officers were involved in this incident and what was their purpose?
It's my thought, like, the city council should have had control over ending or, dismissing. Besides that.
What city ordinances are there that give administration the authority to close?
A meeting,
To close any
meeting.
meeting from either an appointed or an elected board?
You're getting, no, I'm writing it down, but you're getting into some really broad questions that aren't necessarily germane to this.
Okay, so I
I
tell
think
you
you should keep it
I'm
on
sorry.
this issue.
Okay, so what city ordinance, what city ordinances give?
You already asked that question. The last question was the same thing, pretty much.
Well,
What authority?
on what authority?
Yeah.
If he acted pursuant to a city ordinance, then he,
Okay,
so it's kind of redundant.
yeah, that's, okay, that's what I'm saying, yeah.
Because the whole thing is, he went into a meeting, that was a called meeting by elected official. And do we have authority to stop that meeting? Or have it removed? For city building, that's what we need, that's what we want to know, really.
Wait, what was that? Was that a new question?
That's a couple of them we know that I have.
Okay.
Oh,
It'll come out of that.
what is,
That would answer that.
I do want to understand, one question, what is the administration's policy in regards to, the operations of the building?
Of what building?
Of,
City Hall?
well, no, we'll quote where it happened, in the dome.
Okay, so give me your question again.
So,
What was
what was, what was the,
Time limit, the time is supposed to be out of the dome.
yeah, what was the, Lord, I'm sorry, I'm tired, y'all, forgive me, it's been a long day, and I'm cold. What is the administration's, operation, when it comes to operating in the dome? How do they handle, it's not coming together like I wanna say it.
What is the administration's authority to oversee the dome?
Thank you.
And what was the original agreement, for the council members to hold a meeting in the dome?
What was the original agreement?
Right, so was there an original agreement, so was there a time that the council people had agreed that they would,
Started in.
yep, an ending time?
So,
Do you have that?
was there a time frame?
Right, was there an agreement of a end between council and the administration?
Yeah, publicly, we knew that they had to be out of the Genesee County Administration building at
9:30.
Right,
Yeah,
right.
9:30.
Here they just opened. They didn't
Upstairs,
have
though.
any, yeah.
Upstairs, we don't know about down there.
Right, okay.
So, that's a question I do wanna ask Attorney Bush for an opinion.
What?
Mr. Bush,
Yes.
for an opinion, could you please if city council was meeting in the dome, would that therefore be germane? Would the dome therefore fall up under their jurisdiction as it would be if they were in council chambers?
I'd ask you to put that in writing.
Okay, we'll submit that in writing.
I mean, it would only make sense because the charter is clear that, well, it actually says the council will meet in the council chambers or other such places as designated from time to time. So that means that they have the authority to meet in another area. They're also
But you can't
required,
control
the city
the
clerk has to serve the administration with a notice of every meeting that they call.
Exactly.
So I guess one other question would be, did they receive notice of that meeting taking place?
And then they did have communication as to when they had to leave because there was an original time, right?
Right.
Yeah, because they can. meet
Right,
in the
there was an
community
original time
or
for them to leave.
Anywhere.
Yeah.
They can meet in the community or anywhere.
What was the time for them to leave?
I'm not sure, that's what I'm trying to find out.
But you understood there was a time for them to leave? Okay, what's the question? I mean, I think we got it already.
Yeah.
We kind
And
of,
I guess.
But
But
see,
see,
the vote-
and I guess
did you give them, she was asking about the, original time. Was there, communication?
what was the agreement?
Yeah.
The time
And see,
frame.
and so the reason why I was, the reason why I was asking that question was because in the council chambers, which we know is city council domain, we've never seen a meeting shut down. That's why I was asking when they were
Is that
in,
the same?
when they were in the dome, does that, when they were in that special meeting place, does that therefore constitute as council as council, as meeting on the third floor? That's why I was asking that
All right,
question.
you're gonna send that in a referral to.
Yeah, I'll send that in a
Yeah,
referral.
but I think that was probably because of administration, something like that.
Yeah, but that's
You
what,
have a time where you can meet, but you gotta get out of here.
So we're gonna ask, if council is meeting in the dome outside of their designated chambers, do they fall under the city administrator's authority in terms of time and space and place? Or do they bring with them their autonomy as if they're in the chamber?
thank you. That's,
I hope somebody's writing that down to send to me.
As long as they wanna meet.
This is- write that down. So we can send it to Mr. Bush.
I will make it.
Okay.
Yes.
I depend on Paul.
Okay, so you're gonna send that referral?
I'm saying to Mr. Bush.
Yeah, to
Okay.
Mr. Bush,
Okay, so I don't need to do
for
that.
that. No, you don't have to worry
All
about
right,
that.
any other questions, cause I gotta go.
Well, then you know what?
Yeah.
I'm just repeat it to me because Paul is gone blank. I didn't get it, so just make sure I get it.
Before you leave,
So the question, you said it a whole lot better than I did.
Just let me do it.
Okay.
Okay.
You said,
I got it.
I have a question. When you said certified letter, are we going that route or are you doing an email?
Nope, certified.
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 Okay.
Or hand to hand.
Because I was about to say
You
certified.
don't have
we
to
go
be
to their
certified if
address.
you're delivering it to
And
the
what I just
person.
do a sign off, just as.
Yeah.
Right.
Gotcha.
But make sure we see the sign off. Make sure we see the sign off.
I'll make sure.
And who signs off it? Does she have to give it to Ed Taylor, or does she have, who the substitute if he's not present?
It should
If
be a
he's,
substitute.
normally it's that person, but if he's designated his secretary or some other person to receive it on his behalf, we're fine with that. Cause that's his they're gonna represent, they have the authority to sign it on his behalf. So, it doesn't become our concern at that point unless he says, well, I didn't get it.
Okay.
So. This is too legal. Okay, any other questions in this? You want me to reiterate so everybody knows what the questions are?
Are we recording?
Yes, we are recording.
Okay.
And we're
Testing,
televised.
yeah, it's recording. Or if we all good, if y'all good, then I don't need to repeat.
I'm good.
Okay.
I'm gonna move right quick before you move here, because that's
Okay.
one thing I need to, make sure that we get that right to Mr. Bush on those two part of the charter, what they mean on real board meeting is talk business, that's something legal, knowledge and opinion. And instead of the one that he gave on, because he specifically.
He gave three, he gave 3,202.
Yeah, so
But he didn't, but we didn't actually.
Three, two,
Right.
both
Yeah,
three,
we
two
want
oh
a,
three.
we want a legal opinion on 3-201 subsection B.
Yeah, he gave it on just what he last.
So I have a question, sorry, I have a question. So when will you have all this written up and, send it off for Mr. Ed Taylor? So at our next.
The only thing
meeting-
I will tell you is it will go out by the end of the week, because I am in a homicide trial. I too have a very busy life, and that's a priority right now, with a client looking at life. So, but I will make time and get it done before the end of the week.
From that day.
I will be, I'll be up at 2 o'clock in the morning. I'll get it done.
Our next meeting, so I didn't know, that's why I wanted to clear.
Well, we're giving him 10 days, so I will make sure that it's done, so that he has those 10 days, so we can get it for our next meeting. Because we only have 14 days, so that just gives me 2 good days anyway.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, two things. I'm gonna put together, because I gotta have people that know we're gonna have to put together, and I will call a couple people, and I might have 3, 4. Besides myself, we got to actually do the operation of the budget and how that look and how that it kept. After looking at this, and it's a good idea,
We had no idea what you hold up. What is that?
this is the one from,
Did you get it last
but.
week?
No, I didn't get this either.
But when you read that and go on, there's a lot of things we did. It should have been put in place.
Okay.
We should have had that in place, not for the peak time, but for the whole budget for the.
We have an ad hoc committee for that, right? The budget.
What was it, Janine?
Right?
We do.
Flat fees.
Should I see?
Well,
Just email me.
I just,
So they made
okay.
art.
Well, that's, I have,
Let's send it to her.
I'm inserting myself into this budget thing,
Who's running the website?
whoever that committee, because we need to have stuff in place for the next budget.
Mr. King, who's on that budget committee?
It was Carol, it was Linda, Thompson, and
Jude.
Miss Julie.
Julie.
There was Carol one,
Yes.
and Thompson and me.
Mm-hmm.
So we're gonna start that, and I'm gonna be, because we gotta put this budget in, we gotta put stuff in, like, we gotta know what we actually get in, because, we're not good oversight over that. And we need something in place for a buzz person that we got a report on what went out, what come in.
And that's,
Because we probably got $500,000 that went back. And we don't even know what went back or what's going on. We can't lie. I won't sit there and lie that in the moment,
I think we also need, the committee should discuss a line item in that budget for the board. And there is, I'm looking at the Ombudsman's budget right here, and there's, there's like a miscellaneous, but there's no money in that line item. There's 5,000 in there for education and training and conferences, but I'm telling you, this board needs to get some training so that we can be on our P's and Q's and on one accord.
And that's why we gotta put together a good budget. We gotta do good. We gotta put something in writing
Yep.
for the office and everything else.
So we do know, just to back you up on that, we do know that the city starts putting their budget together, they start really in November, going into December. So it would just be a good suggestion that the committee tries to get in on the ground floor.
What's the fiscal year for the city?
It's October, isn't it?
What's
July.
that?
July?
July.
Oh,
But they start working on the budget
The
in
mayor had
November.
to present
In March.
the budget in December to the council.
Right,
In December?
yeah,
To the council.
a draft.
draft of it.
Okay.
And they had to do something by January, they had to have
Well,
it.
y'all committee need to get on the ball.
And
That's where we're going.
from what we were told last
That's
year,
what we can figure out.
what we were told last year, that draft is it. That wasn't no moving on that after, you know, anything outside of the draft, they weren't moving on. So we found that out last year.
That,
I
ad hoc
would
committee,
think
who's
that
gonna
was
chair it?
So y'all need another person. You
Yeah,
said
we need-
Linda
Well,
Thompson.
you got,
Linda Thompson is gone.
Right.
well, you got
Sound
me
like
on that
Linda
now.
Boots
You
was
got
the perfect fit.
Mr. Kane,
Yeah,
We're gonna appoint somebody.
I can do the ad hoc committee.
Okay, you gonna chair?
I think with my job, now that I know the structure,
Okay.
how it's gonna be, I should have some time.
Okay.
okay, so I would be
Page.
giving everyone a call because we're gonna, there's no reason. It's just, that we go along here, we call ourselves ask for money, and we don't even know when we get there, what we spend, and who's going where. It's been very juvenile of us in the past. We should really be on top of that.
Mr. King, one more thing. We are also required to do a year-end report. You should be figuring out who you want on that committee, because that's gonna be a lot of time compiling things that have been, the board has received and worked on to make recommendations going on. And I think that really that's where our teeth are, is in that recommendation, because I think we should publicize it.
But
you know, we can.
that's all, and you got, that'll be what you spearhead.
Great.
Great idea.
When you talk to
Michelle, I will
Miss,
follow with you on that one.
Dancer,
Anybody
you
else?
wanna work on that?
The budget?
The budget, the one that,
or the year-end report.
year-end
The year
report.
report.
Look, budget it is.
You can handle it.
Look, I saw that.
I had to step in the water. I was secretary.
Budget.
I'll stick with the
Yeah.
Yeah, get all of that for
But
the
then,
phone
okay,
number,
come on,
and
then.
call for meeting.
I'll come in.
You work with them.
Yeah, come on over to the area. Yeah,
So,
Y'all
Billy,
do
you gonna do
budget.
budget?
I already budget.
Okay.
Okay.
So then you got
I
got
have,
Billy, me, and,
I have Julian King, Page, here on them.
okay, but what about the year-end committee report?
Your report, the only person I have is Ms. Booth, so thus far, and yourself, okay?
And Billy.
And I'll be back.
And you know what?
I'll be back.
You know what?
There about
You know what?
information.
They don't
Can I make it? I know she's not here, but what about a fourth? What about Michael?
Well, you gotta ask Michael. I don't think we should put her on anything without her
Not
consent.
without-
Right.
Yeah, 'cause she has been scheduled, but she's
understand.
very, very knowledgeable about
And, you know,
things.
you got those two that need to, you know, they can decide.
Let's make sure everybody here before we do it.
The other thing we have to do is I know since we've also voted to close out any more resumes coming in about the ombudsman.
That's my next thing for you.
Yeah, we need to start. We need to pick a date to where we receive all of the information, raw as it is. Just blot out the person's name and the address, and we just go through all of the applications until, we get to the point where we can say, all right, we need to call for.
You weren't here at the last meeting.
Oh,
I asked everyone,
was that done at the last meeting? I'm
I
sorry.
asked everyone to give me a date and time so we can call special meeting.
Anytime.
And I only got two
We only got
responses.
two.
I
But
did
here's,
see
but here's what we're gonna have to do. It's not getting down to, all of them can't be able to meet, but we need at least 5, 6 that can meet and go through these things. Because we're not gonna get everyone together and I was expecting to have a meeting before this meeting, so I could make sure all the information was there. Now, I need, something need to happen before our next meeting. That we take all the applicants and see, do we want to bring them all to be interviewed, or we want to say,
Sounds like we need to call a special meeting.
these are, that's what I'm saying. We need to just take, hey, we got X, and we'll do those, and we have to find any one, we go here and there, so it's, but we can't go into January without our Ombudsman. I don't want to go back past Thanksgiving. It just, we shouldn't be doing that. Thank you for bringing that up. Other thing I had, and I guess I'm gonna go ahead, me and you, Ms. Harris. We brought in the council for the budget, and we never get back to it. We should have a recommendation, so I'm gonna say, and anybody wanna work with me on the committee, Ms. Harris is,
That's
Yeah,
the
we need
budget
to go-
committee, right?
yeah,
Okay.
we had to close this out. We got to send some recommendation on what we found out and to the council what they should do. I think I do have a couple of questions for the administration that ask before we do that. We're gonna do, me and somebody, anybody I will work with, we're gonna come up with some recommendation, bring it to the board so we can give it to the council. We can't be asking, investigating and had them and they all showed up that was still active. They still answered. And we sit back on this. I'm not gonna wait, discuss at each meeting and we don't move on it. We're gonna move, I'm gonna move on it and bring it back. It's just not fair.
Oh, the budget violated, the city council violated the budget the first, back in,
That's an ongoing complaint?
no, it wasn't a complaint.
We
We took that up because when the budget was supposed to have been passed,
Yeah, I remember the issue, but I
Yeah.
don't remember, I mean, who was dealing with that? Was that a committee?
Well, the board was.
the board as a whole, this was before we did the ad hoc committee.
Okay.
Now,
It hasn't been on the agenda, so,
well, we bring up discussing, we just go through. So now, it's not a discussion item, but this one, it's gotta be done. And so I guess that falls on me as being the chair. I can't, the board ain't gonna move that. I gotta move on it. I'm just not gonna go through the trouble of calling all those council people. And then, no, we don't make a decision. That'll make us look awful bad.
So, I got a question. Didn't you say that we're not going backwards, we're moving forwards, and we'll be having, that's something that we have to make a
We're not
move?
going backward, but we have a complaint that we started the complaint on a budget violation that the council did. We haven't completed it.
Okay.
If I look back, we're gonna complete what we should have had completed. Not a complaint to them, but we should give them a recommendation on what we think, on why they missed the child deadline.
Okay.
And from our investigation,
And then we can include that in, if we wanted to, Mr. King, we could include that in our year. Once we conclude it, our findings can be included in the end of the year report as to going forward.
yeah, well, we could do that, but we need to.
No, yeah, we do need to.
We do a final, we never showed that. We did this in July,
Yeah.
1st of July. We're in October.
And another thing, we have to, my term end next year, so, I have to, if I decide I wanna continue, I have to talk to my council person, I guess, and let him know. But, our terms, my term end next year,
Yeah.
July, I think.
July next year, yeah. So, but yeah,
So we're gonna add that back to the committee, to the agenda, starting at our next meeting, is that what you're saying?
what,
The budget issue, are you referring it to a committee? What, I guess I don't understand what we're getting ready to do.
it's gonna be a committee I'm gonna call, and that's a committee. Tomorrow I see what committee, but then, if not, I'm gonna move whoever move with me on that. I call everyone and whoever that, but,
So
You gotta-
council people have already responded?
yeah.
So has there been a compilation of their responses?
Yes, I think Ms. Little took everything, because we had two written, everything else was verbal, so Paul recorded that meeting. And all of the council members came in except for Pfeiffer and, Pfeiffer, Worthing didn't come, and Herkenroder wasn't coming because she was resigning, she was resigning from the board at that time. But, Councilman Pfeiffer sent in a written report. Eva Worthing sent in a written report, and Judy Priestley came in physically. She didn't speak, but she said, she sent in a written report.
So is that something that would fall under the auspices of you already got a budget committee, even though you're looking at a proposed budget for next year, you're still dealing with budget issues?
This one was just in dealing with the violation of the child.
That's what I'm
Child
saying.
violation.
But that committee is still a
Consider-
budget issue.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Okay.
That committee
Yeah,
can
okay,
look
okay.
at it and say, well, this is the violation, this was the response, and then what the recommendation should be.
Right, yeah, we can do that with the budget.
But- So you're not creating more and more committees?
No,
because-
no, I don't wanna, no, I don't wanna get,
Because right now, we just have the two, right?
Yeah, but we're a small board.
yeah, and we
Small
all
business.
have,
Yeah.
we all have, application.
And that's
I
the other.
just got back in here today.
And that's the other thing, that we had discussed as a board. Trying to get those last two seats filled so that we could have 11 people represented. We're still full, Ward 4 is still going.
They were supposed to discuss a mayoral appointment last night, but they didn't get to.
We have,
Oh, he has an
He
appointment?
has enough, yes.
okay, so
Okay.
I had told,
Okay.
Ms. Priestley, and I talked to a couple of people over there, but I'm still trying to help her get appointment because she having a problem.
So we should be 11 members strong, right?
Yes,
Correct.
yes. 9 wards and the mayor get 2 appointees.
So if there's nothing else, I will entertain a motion.
So,
Second.
Hey, we out of here.
ooh, Lord.
Taco place.
So,
Listen,